A gathering of butterflies. It have a place I did know where my mother plant trees and children all take root. The trees grow tall, straight, flourishing into sheltering screens, and the children crooked and stunted. A woeful six a wee she birth, rooted to the same 5 acre patch of earth, even though we could never see eye to eye. And when she dead, all a we who had scattered regather, and Mammy Alamanda was in a lemon chiffon riot of flowers in, boasting a full crop of orange and black butterfly. We had promised, well, I had. I had promised to bring she body back home one last time before we commit she to the earth. One last time past this garden she had plant and tend with love, while I had hate when the shrubbery would be festooned with a countless burden of orange and black caterpillar. So much so that I sidled along the opposite side of the narrow walkway, hard up against the thornily unfriendly African rose, my head resolutely turned away from witnessing the ceaseless wriggling and squirming as they gorging themselves on an abundance of leaves. As she garden harbor caterpillar, so she house tenant graspers and grabbers, half related by blood and fully by upbringing. I sitting on she wide bed in she room, now empty as she bustling sweep her laughter, head throw back, eye teeth showing brazen, belly and side bellowsing to feed the furious glee. She could laugh, boy. She could a real laugh. She was a storm of tears when she ready to, like when she had the first stroke, and I take she to Trinidad to rest and recover. She cry like first time, tentative and hiccuping, brewing water into a steaming squall that would make Caroni rise and oversweep the plains, gouge out pitch from road and overtop every embankment to create new track for water to run. Years she living and I no understanding how bitter it is to raise ungrateful children. She run she blood to water and reap a dry harvest of open mouth and closed fist children who always want more. I had leave she to she 5 beloved boys. Me, the only girl in the whole cravenous bouquet. I had leave and hadn't sleep under my mother roof in almost 18 years. I had grew up waiting for peace in this family and had run away and finished my growing, sequestered from the unremitting coil of the drama. Tall and strapping boys with chests like silk cotton and arms like mahogany, arguing over who is she favorite, who do belong on this land, whose surname spelled different, and why you ain't go by your own father. That, and then nothing for you here, had morphed and addled into grey-haired, saggy bicep, hairlines receding into back to front, see men now dredging, who not contributing enough to the funeral, and who spending too much, and who loves she more, and who she love more. All the glabber and baiting, lambasting and clubbering, same old. Nothing except hairlines now like Grange Bay at ebb tide and bellies flopping over trouser waist like beach fish had changed. The gleaming satin of the black hearse that was standing under the leaning casuarina tree, the one remaining which Mammy had not allowed my father to cut down when he was in one of his rage. He had already felled its twin. Both had stood sentinel at the gap leading to the house since they had moved in together while expecting my birth, if what my brothers say can be trusted. Not too long after Sonny Jr. was born, I believe they said. One of my mother's sons had felt man enough to challenge the last real lion in his lair, and was lucky that Sonny wasn't in a mood to make a jail, so he hacked down his favorite tree instead and wear out his rage on bark and branch. That was how it went, for years. And Mammy retreat to she garden, She used to stand inside the cloud of yellow butterflies and hymning in she clear mezzo-soprano, voice flitting like breeze through the chittering leaves, purple pomegranate needles shivering off the bases, and pointy thorns of roses clacking. I get the news that Mommy had passed at 6:28, January 20, 2008. We had talked around 8 p.m. the night before when she second oldest son, the one son who behaved as though he was everybody's father, had called me from the hospital. Mommy had get yet another stroke, and this time they said she didn't look good to stay. Holding the cell phone close to she ears, she and I talk, as well as we could. She slurred Annette, shafting my ear and cracking my heart wide open, my throat clogging and I swallowing against a clutter saliva as I imagined she, shrunken and shriveled against the harsh white of hospital linens. I tried to comfort she fear and pain that she was spending yet another birthday in the hospital. I understand she clear request for home, and assure she that I was going to see she soon, maybe not on she birthday tomorrow self, but soon. Soon I would have put aside the $750 to buy return plane tickets for me and my 3 boys to return to Tobago. I planned with she to go beach combing. Long time we hadn't gathered shells for she craft work. Well, I planned. She listened and make occasional vague grunts or mews. Probably fed up her hearing promises, so she make sure to die on she birthday. Make sure that I keep my promise this time to come see she. A cousin, almost as old as my mother, had warned me that tears shouldn't fall on she body. As the only daughter, I done know my duty. Matter of fact, Mommy drill it into me from early o'clock. Every time I forget myself and rest my hands on top my head in she presence, Mommy would drag them down rough and sudden, always saying, "Your mama not dead yet. What you grieve for? Grieve when me dead and gone and make sure say you wash my body good, girl. You's the only girl picnic God bless me with. Boy picnic can't wash their mother body." So I was the one hesitating in approaching Mommy naked form. She body splayed on silver, she body splayed on metal, silvering under overhead lights. My gaze first land on she toes. Oh, she would laugh long-windedly, always complaining that she toenail was as thick as the skin she wearing, built to take fatigue. It didn't have anything you could have tell she that would bother she, or for which she couldn't scrounge up a scathing retort. Only things faster than she hand to slap was she tongue and wit. Lips curling soft, a huff a small laugh while straining a smile, and stop when the laugh threatened to turn to a cry as tears brim. I wipe my face, both hands like butterflies over my eyes. I inhale long and breathe out when my gaze travel over she slightly rounded tummy with a nest of stretch marks from hip bone to navel. She softened thighs hiding a crack of womb from which I had emerged, squalling into this life. I looked past she flaccid small breasts and into she lovely face. She looked restful, ordinary. She mouth crimpling from absent dentures, just as on any given night when she would soak them overnight in a half glass of peroxide. She wood brown skin with a smattering of freckles across the tops of she cheeks, still smooth, flawless today at 75, and unneeding of brown powder, and she lips still wine dark. But the liquid gold of she eyes was closed to me. But the liquid gold of she eyes was closed to me, glued shut by the mortician. I wash she cinnamon skin with new blue soap which I knew that I had to keep, sluicing water over she body and easing under the shrunken flaps of she breasts, over she belly and not daring to touch she vagina but making sure that all soap wash away. And I didn't cry. I didn't cry as I wash she, wish she Godspeed and happy birthday, gone on the same day that she had entered the world. So I had greet she body when the funeral home bring she into the house, set the coffin in the middle of the room and point she foot toward the east door. I retreat, sitting in she room while she body sagging in the coffin. I sitting there away from the soft shush of villagers come to see she for the last. I hearing the murmurs of walk good sister Anne. I sitting in she room away from my brothers, still listening for Errol in the kitchen dressing his loud red shirt which I had asked him to at least cover with a black jacket, and he constantly tearing eyes, bleating about how much he miss his mother, yet still managing to whisper in some woman ears. I sitting away from Declan, Mammy's special child, straight and wrong face in the gallery, greeting all guests with his unwearying wide smile and stutter. I sitting away from Roy and Walter, standing in funereal black on either side at the head of the coffin, neither willing to relinquish the perception of favor. So I take a while to hear the sprinkling attention in between the mournful gathering, until it rise to air height and overspill, drowning the calm. I cock my head. I cock my head first to make sure, and then sprint down the corridor, too late to save the coffin from overturning and spilling out a cloud of orange and black butterflies. The day Mammy come home for the last time, a cloud of vile, vulgar butterflies had gathered. And as I crumple, knees to the chill terrazzo floor, I look at the swarm lazily dipping and wheeling, and I ask, Mommy, that is you? The end.